As an empath, do you ever feel like you're carrying everyone else's emotions? Okay, trick question, because as an empath, that is one of the main struggles. Like, you walk into a room and suddenly you're anxious or sad or angry, but you know those feelings aren't actually even yours. Well, that's the shadow for empaths of emotional absorption. And in this video, I'll show you why it happens, how to protect yourself and your energy so that you can stop taking on what doesn't belong to you. Hi, I'm Monica of Monica Gold Soul, and if this resonates for you, make sure to check out my free masterclass, Why Empathic Sensitive Women Still Feel Stuck even after therapy, and how to break free. In it, I break down a roadmap for exactly how to break free from painful patterns. Things like toxic relationships or people pleasing, self doubt, how to really heal those old wounds and reprogram your brain, your nervous system, and all of the things holding you back from feeling real deep self love, safety, self trust to be able to live an empowered life as a beautiful, sensitive person. So make sure to check that out. The link is in the description box. And I also just created a inner child healing bundle. It is a really powerful journey where it's actually an audio track that you listen to, and you go into a meditation like visualization where you work with some sort of a trigger that's been going on in your life, trace it back to the time in childhood when you first felt this way, where this wound originated, and actually get to travel back in time and give your inner child what you needed back then to be able to heal, to be able to feel loved, and really go back and heal those wounds so that that original trigger no longer holds the same weight in your daily life. It's really going back and time traveling to give your inner child what you need, and it is so powerful. So make sure to check that out. You don't want to miss it. Now back into today's video. For years, I thought I was like broken because I couldn't separate my feelings from everyone else's. And there's a lot of shame that the world tries to put on empaths for this struggle that we have of feeling everyone else's stuff. I would soak up other people's moods and then feel really exhausted and ashamed and resentful and shut down. And it wasn't until I learned how to work with this shadow that I realized that emotional absorption isn't something that I'm doomed to experience forever because I'm an empath. It's a survival pattern that can be healed and transformed. So let's talk about why this shadow even shows up. Well, as kids, empaths, we had to stay hyper attuned to the emotions of our caregivers just to stay safe. So if someone around us was angry or critical or unpredictable, we learned to feel it and predict it before it even happened. Our nervous system wired in this belief that if I can feel everything around me, maybe I can figure out how to prevent danger and stay safe. And over time, that survival strategy turns into this emotional absorption shadow and carrying emotions that were never yours to begin with. As adults, this can leak out in a lot of different ways, like taking responsibility for other people's moods, feeling drained in group settings, social settings, or confusing someone else's anxiety, anger, sadness, emotions with your own. You might walk into a room feeling fine and then suddenly feeling like you're carrying emotions that don't belong to you. So how do we heal this? Well, the first step, like with all shadows, I'll say, is to normalize it. Absorbing emotions as an empath doesn't mean you're broken, and it's not the actual mark of badge of honor that an empath has to wear. We don't have to go around absorbing everyone else's emotions to prove that we're an empath or for any reason. It's really a survival adaptation that your body learned to keep you safe, and you can unlearn it, and you can learn how to protect yourself while honoring your sensitivity. The second step is discernment. When you notice an emotion that bubbles up in you, start asking yourself, is this even mine, or did I just pick this up from someone else? That simple pause helps you separate what belongs to you from what doesn't belong to you. So you can start noticing if it connects to your own lived experience or inner dialogue, like almost like a memory or a personal trigger or an ongoing thought pattern. Those are all ways that you can know, like, this is actually mine. It makes sense that this is coming up because this happened earlier in my day, or I'm feeling this trigger right now, right? It makes some sort of sense in context. But if the feelings seem to appear out of nowhere, they're like sudden or foreign, or it doesn't really match what's happening in your life, in your day, chances are that you're picking it up from someone or somewhere else. And that's your cue to release it instead of continue carrying it. And then the third step is to release it and practice energetic boundaries. You can use tools like visualization, grounding, or self-soothing to train your system that you don't have to carry what isn't yours. I shared a video of an energetic practice, an energy boundary practice that can be a really valuable, simple tool for you to practice in the moment. And when you do this consistently, your empathy can transform into compassion with boundaries, and you can care deeply about other people without drowning in everyone else's stuff. Because when you integrate this shadow, the emotional absorption, emotional overwhelm transforms into empathy with boundaries. You still care deeply, but you don't drown in other people's stuff. You can hold compassion for others while staying rooted in your own center first. If this resonates, make sure to check out especially the Inner Child Healing Bundle. That is going to be so powerful for healing these shadows, healing the origin of these wounds, so that you're no longer stuck caretaking everyone else's stuff, drowning in everyone else's stuff. You can come back to your center, and really that changes everything. You also don't want to miss my masterclass. You can find both at the link in the description. See you next time.